So we've come to the end of our virtual astronomy class. I honestly hope you learned something. But before I leave you, I want to give you just a few closing words with astronomy. Hopefully if we hooked you in or something, or you want to be a teacher someday, here's some things to think about. So really, what do you do now? The class is over. Okay, no more videos, no more studying, anything like that. Well, I got 8 points of advice for you. Let me just tell you what they are. First thing you can do to definitely stay in touch with astronomy is to subscribe to a magazine called Sky and Telescope. Now, I know this sounds really sort of geeky and things like that. Who wants to get an astronomy magazine every month? But if you do that, you would just be rehashing, reading, and hearing about astronomy once a month, even if you just flip through it. And they sell it at some grocery stores, but the subscription is nice because it sort of forces you to take a look at it. It tells you what's up in the sky tonight, next week, next month, so you won't miss things, whether it's Venus or Saturn or Jupiter or whatever. It tells you what to look for. It tells you some latest astronomy research. There's products to buy, that sort of thing, but allows you just to keep in touch with astronomy. So it's very important to do something like this just to keep the terms sort of flowing through your mind. The next thing, please try to go see a total solar eclipse at least sometime in your life. You can always find a cruise ship that's going to take you there. This is just an ad from some years ago in 2016, but the cruise ship promised to take you out here in the middle of the ocean where a total solar eclipse would happen. Hopefully the clouds won't get in your way, but you can sort of go see an eclipse sort of almost any time you want that way. There's some ship that'll take you there. So figure, look, as long as you're going on vacation and you want to take a cruise, why don't you take one that's going through a total solar eclipse at least once in your life, okay? And on that note, not too far in the future, about 3 years from now in October 2023, a total eclipse will pass through the United States. I hope you can make some effort to go see it. You can see large swaths of Oregon and Nevada and Utah, a tad bit of Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas will get the full total solar eclipse. So you're going to have to drive there if you're not there already. It's going to be very crowded, just like the one in 2018, but definitely worth seeing. The other thing you could try to do is buy yourself a telescope someday. The cheap ones are really no good. Spend at least $200. And honestly, the telescopes that you see at Costco are actually pretty good. So if Costco sells it, it's probably not a bad buy. I've checked them out many times and they're pretty good there. But at least $200, and some of the good brands are Meade, Celestron, and Orion. Any one of those you can't go bad with. And when you get it, don't get too ambitious about discovering black holes and that sort of thing. Just start by looking at the moon and finding a planet here or there, and just get good at that, and you'll be fine. The fourth thing is please try to keep looking up at the sky. Don't forget about your core thing, your Big Dipper, your North Star, and your Cassiopeia, which we didn't quite get to see given the timing of this class, but you got to go find that sometime, the big W in the sky. Remember that, on the other side of Polaris. Also, try to be familiar with the seasonal constellations. Orion always in the winter, the Fish or Pisces in the fall, Scorpius in the summer, and spring Virgo. Those are going to be the prominent constellations that are very high in the sky at midnight, so it's good at least to be familiar with the seasonal constellations, and always try to run through all the stuff at least once when you go camping. This for sure, the North Star and some of the easy things, but maybe depending on what season is, look up and try to find one of those seasonal constellations. Just always try to maintain a command over your sky. And even if you're sort of crazy then, just 10 minutes each month, 10 minutes a month, just go out and look at the sky. Just keep it running through your mind and see if you can at least figure out northeast, southwest from the sky. If you ever get a chance, also number 5 here, try to look at the moon with some binoculars. You'll be absolutely stunned and amazed at what you see. And the best time to look at is not when the moon is full, it's just too bright, but try to catch sort of a crescent or a gibbous phase and try to look right there at the terminator. Between light and dark, you'll see mountains and shadows and craters. You won't believe what you'll see just with a pair of binoculars, so you don't even need a telescope kind of to take the next step with astronomy. Number 6, whether you're requesting a gift or giving a gift to someone, try to find this book called Night Watch by Dickinson. It's about $20 on Amazon. It is absolutely the most spectacular sort of what can I do in my night sky astronomy book ever written. In fact, here's one of the reviews here. Don't buy this book. This book is so good, you'll regret reading it. Let me tell you why. It got me started in astronomy, all the sleepless nights under the stars, $5,000 on probably a telescope, all because I read this book here, the 4th edition. It is just one of the best astronomy books out there, and I did not write this here, but I can't agree more. This is just the most wonderful book. Again, Dickinson, Night Watch. It's just the real simple book of literally what can you do tonight with the night sky to go out and look at something, and it tells you why and how and all that sort of thing. It talks about telescopes and viewing the planets, not so much the physics and the information about the planets that I try to give you, but just sort of how to find them and what it means when you see them and that kind of thing. Just a wonderful book. Number 7, I have a challenge for you here as you go on. Next 10, 20-year challenge. At some point in your life, do 2 things. Number 1, try to discover Saturn and its rings all by yourself someday. And so what that's going to mean is many, many things. Is you're aware when Saturn's up. I don't know how you're going to find that out. Either you have to go searching the internet for when it's up, because it's not always up. Or maybe you got the book, or maybe you heard about it on the news. But you have to know that at some point when you go outside, there's your ground. You're going to see a little white dot up there, and you're going to have to know somehow that that's Saturn. So that's step 1. And the second thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have yourself a telescope. And that's a big thing. So that means you've spent some money, you got a little committed to it and that sort of thing. And the third thing that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to learn how to use the telescope, the focus, the eyepieces, all that sort of thing. But if you can ever do that, if you can ever look at Saturn and it goes under your own control from this little white dot to this awesome sort of ball that has these rings around it. If you can ever see that, I promise you, you will never forget that moment your whole life. It is so stunning to see that, to see a little white dot become the beautiful ring planet. You will never forget it. And when you do that, very, very important, make sure you show someone else. Just grab anyone you can find, your mom, your dad, your neighbor, your kid someday, whatever. Just grab them and show them. It'll make an impact on them, I promise. And the other thing you can do is, if you happen to be staying in the Central Coast or whatever, find some sort of astronomical organization that exists near you, and they're all over the place. Every city and town has a bunch of astronomy enthusiasts that get together, and if they're not looking in telescopes once a month, they're talking about astronomy. The Central Coast Astronomy Organization is just a very active one. They have weekly star signs where you can literally just drive your car up and look at the cosmos in any number of 5 to 10 different telescopes that volunteers set up, and they just love to share with you. And you can at least get on their mailing list and get news. So anyway, those are my 8 things to leave you with. And I hope you learned something from the class, and I hope you try to keep astronomy just sort of, and looking at the sky, a part of your life as you move on. So good luck, everyone.